everyone, it's Artie Tambarambaa, also known as Tammy Porter, here with you again today. Thanks so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. We are creating this bright sort of angel, and I've turned my album on the side so that she can be in full bloom on my page. So I'm going through what I used. I missed a couple of things there. So there was the brushes. I've used a few brushes, the artist sponges. I've also used the Golden Oldie collector book and the Out of the World paper pad. I'm using the 8 by 8 inch, which I think is about 20 centimeters, white journal. And then I'm using a whole stack of paint. So I will list those in the description, but I basically mainly use the paint in the background. Just I kept changing my mind with the background, and so I go over things with different colors, and so basically I've pulled out all the paints and that is what I have gone with. I'm trying to think what else I used in the page that I might have missed when I first, the sticky glue I've used, and yeah, as I said, they're all in the descriptions. So from the Out of This World paper pad, that butterfly grabbed me straight away, and I'd actually pulled a little girl out from the Golden Oldie book, and she's just a little head. A lot of Marlene's images are a head and neck, so I like sort of adding to those, and I decided I would make a sort of paper doll, and I guess she's a bit of an angel. So I've also cut out that circle or mandala, I guess, from the from the Golden Oldie paper pad, and thinking of that as a bit of a halo. And then she's got her wings, and I had this leftover piece of gorgeous rainbow paper that's also in the Golden Oldie book, and so I thought I'll use that to create a dress. So I simply sketched out one side, and then I folded it over to create the other side, and I just kind of joined it up with what Marlene had done on her sort of top of her bodice there. And I really like how, so Marlene's painted that a greeny colour, and so I used that part of the paper down, the green downwards, so that it all matched and you get that sort of rainbow ombre effect. So now I'm using the sticky glue, and I'm just gluing her together, so fairly quickly. I'll probably add a bit more glue to her again later. It's just so she's in one piece, but I do leave the halo off because I want to do the background and then add that behind her head, so I'm not sure if I need to move that. So I've left that unglued. And on the back of that rainbow paper, there was some of this beautiful paint swatch paper, and I thought, oh, let's just stick that straight down, and that can be our jumping off point to create the background. So I've stuck it on with the sticky glue, and then I'm just kind of bringing that paint swatch out outwards from the paper, and then I will start using mark making and adding some paint and some colour as I go. And you'll see that the first sort of colours I put down is some yellows and oranges. So I'm simply using my acrylic paints, and I've just watered them down a little bit. And because this journal has a slightly sort of bit of a sheen to it, it's quite thick pages, really great to work with because nothing seeps through them. But they are a little bit glossy, so you can put your acrylic paints directly on. I haven't used gesso again. People keep asking me that, but I have actually mixed water with my acrylic, so I want a sort of a washier, bit more of a watercolour-y background is what I was thinking. So I began with yellows and oranges and pinks up the top, and the reason for that, a couple of reasons. Number one, as I said, she's sort of going to be an angel and have a halo, so halos is where your light source would be, so I'm keeping the top part of the background, you know, your lighter yellows and oranges, and I'm going into deeper colours down the bottom, just thinking about, you know, light source. So this page is a little bit tricky to create because I have flipped my journal to be long ways, so she is taking up the whole area. However, it does just mean it's really hard to capture on video, and I keep forgetting that I need to move the page up and the page down so you can see what I'm doing. So every now and then I'm off camera, so I'm sorry about that. But as you can see, I've just created a watercolour background, and now I'm coming in with some mark making just to try and play and add layers until I'm happy. And incidentally, which is quite interesting, is the top part of this creation is where the orange is. And for those who saw me teach recently at the Nat May retreat, you know that I'm having a battle with orange at the moment. So it's not a colour that I use very often. And this happened to me with purple, and the way I got over that was just to use it and use it and use it. And now I just grab for purple without even thinking about it. I think orange is just a bit too close to brown for me. And it's just, even though I'm telling myself it's just pink and yellow, or pink, yellow and red put together, it is a colour that I struggle to use. So what I am doing is, you very rarely see orange in my focal points. I'm trying to put more orange into my backgrounds. Sometimes I then cover it up without really even realizing that I'm doing that. But I'm trying to just, that's a start, getting orange onto my pages, and then soon it will become a colour that I use all the time. So I'll just explain as well my thought process around this. My art always is a bit self-reflective. It's an important space for me, for my mental health and my well-being. And at the moment, things are creeping up on me. I can feel the anxiety is kicking in a bit, and I just haven't been sleeping well. And this is just sort of, I guess, from some childhood trauma, that if I don't take care of myself really well, things can easily catch up and I can fall in a bit of a hole. So I've actually can feel that coming. So I'm trying to be really careful about perhaps starting to say no to a few things, and just trying to make a bit of time for me in amongst all the craziness of life. And that includes things like doing some art, going for a walk each day, reading, having a bath. If I can schedule them into my time, it does help me. Within a few weeks, I seem to be able to bring that back a little bit. So this is to remind myself that it's okay. It's okay for me to need to do this, that I give myself permission to look after myself, and I'm recognising the signs. And, don't ever hesitate, for anyone out there, to do the same for yourself. So many of us, and I met a lot of you at the retreat, and such super kind people, but don't forget to give that kindness to yourself, and give yourself permission to rest when you need it, and to look after you when you need it. You don't always need other people to do that. You can do that for yourself. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent, but this is the whole point of this page, is about reminding myself to look after me. So that's why this paper doll, I guess, has become morphed into an angel, because I'm thinking about that self-care and that self-love. And I guess the other interesting thing is that where I have put the orange, which is at the top, is the part of this page that I really like. I really struggled with the bottom part of the page. I ended up doing lots and lots of layers. And it wasn't until I started to add some white in that I started to like it a bit more. And I think that's because I have some white in the paper. So I needed to bring a bit of white in just to tie it all together. So this stage, I'm still struggling a little bit. As you can see, I cut out some leftover circles from the butterfly paper. I end up not sticking them on. I'm looking at my example and they didn't make the finish. So sometimes, as I say, it's just playing around. But I do want her to be holding a heart. So at this stage, she didn't have any arms. So I have just sketched in some little arms, and I want her to be holding a heart. And some of this you can't see on camera because I keep forgetting to move it down, but I play around a bit with different hearts, and I decide I'm going to put some things in her hair, but then I decide in the end that the halo's enough, that she doesn't need any more. So don't forget, I don't cut those bits out. I think it's important for you all to see that, you know, sometimes we shuffle for ages, sometimes we change our mind 3 or 4 times before we actually are happy with what we've ended up with. And the other thing you probably saw me do when I was talking was I forgot about the hinge in the center, so I had a lot of trouble sticking my paper angel down. I forgot to sort of consider having the album opened and closed when I did that, so you might have seen me faff about for a bit there. Okay, so now she's all stuck down. I'm happier with the background, so it's time to make her stand out from the background. So I'm using a Stabilo oil pencil, and I'm just going around the edges of her, so her body, her wings. I don't do her halo because I was kind of thinking about that being the light source and perhaps not needing a shadow particularly behind it, but I do so with her hair and her body, and then you can see I've added in her little arms that are holding that heart, which signifies her taking care of herself. So now I am just using a pencil to sketch out some lines. So I kind of do what sort of narrow to larger and then larger to narrow kind of lines, because I decided I would add a quote into her dress. And yeah, I really end up liking, I have to go over this 2 or 3 times because I'm not completely happy with it sort of being readable and standing out, but I eventually get there. So I will just read you the quote as I'm sort of drawing it in here, but it is, "That is the beautiful thing about self-love. You wear it like a dress and it becomes more and more exquisite with time." And I just thought that suited perfectly. I didn't make this one up. It is the quote that I had saved in my Pinterest, but it just was perfect for this page with her rainbow dress and all those sort of visualizations that I have that are important for me. So I do it in a thin black pen at first, and just this is more making sure it kind of fits and making it work for the lines that I've drawn. And then I just come in with the black marker and go over the top of all of this. So some of the writing I've done in capitals and larger, and some of the writing I've just done in normal, you know, in smaller size. And I guess some of the words that I've done a bit bigger are words that I want to emphasize. So I'm actually just completely going over the top of this. And then what I also do, because I feel like it kind of almost overpowers completely the piece, is that I do come in with a white pen and just add some, go over it again. So the lines again. So I've kind of ended up doing it 3 times. But, you know, it was quite therapeutic, and the whole time I'm doing it, I'm thinking about how important it is that we give ourselves that permission to look after ourselves so that we can look after everyone else in our lives, basically. Okay, so I actually think I'm trying to find a white pen that works. I think that took a while. I seem to have ruined so many white gel pens. If anyone has a secret, I think it's just that I'm not patient, but if anyone has a secret to those pens and how to get them working again, the Uniball pens, please let me know, because I have so many sitting there that I actually can't use. All right, so I will be quiet while I let this a little bit happen. I'll just leave you to watch, and then it will just be coming back to finish off the page. So all I'm doing now is adding a little bit of, I guess, depth by using the markers, a few different colours in the markers, just to create a few mark makings, perhaps a few shadows here and there, smudging it with my finger just to build up perhaps around some of the edges and things like that. And at this point, I'm the part that Marlene had done for the girl's top had a bit of pattern on it, so I just kind of continued that down slightly into her dress. So that is it. I will leave you with some close-ups. I think I did off camera add a little bit of azure, watered down azure towards the bottom of the page, just to give that illusion of that light and that depth. So I kind of pressed stop and then decided to do that. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for being here. I always love seeing your thoughts, what you think of these pages, and as always, I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.